My name is Joel Manning. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you guys. As you heard, I am a speaker and sports presenter, but let's forget all that for now. In my hand, I have some papers. So this is for row number 1. Row number 2, you can hold that. All right, so in your hands, there should be about 16 quotes on that paper. And I want you guys, there are 8 on each paper. 1 to 8, some people have, you guys have the same ones. So everybody should have 1 to 8 or 9 to 16 in their hand. I want you guys to probably take about maybe 4 or 5 minutes to look at them and just think about maybe something that stands out to you, something that you either interested in, something that you like. And I just need you guys to tell me what that is after the 4 minutes, all right? So you can just take maybe, like I said, about 3-4 minutes as a group. So just get a little closer, guys. Look at the papers and we can decide what we can talk about. All right, so what is your name? Gemini. All right, so Gemini is the first person that has something that she wants to talk about. So what's your number that you want to talk about? I can talk about it. Number 9? All right, so let me see what number 9 is. All right, so for everybody that does not have number 9, listen to what number 9 said. It says, I am a winner already. My winnings simply haven't manifested themselves at the levels I would love them to as yet. Once again, I am a winner already. My winnings simply haven't manifested themselves at the levels I would love them to as yet. Let me talk to you guys about that one. So pretty much every quote on these papers I live my life by. That's pretty much it. Over the years that I have been trying to become something in this world, I have written down at different stages of my life. So that quote was probably written maybe when I was, I'm about 30 years now. I started writing when I was maybe about 20 or so. And one of those quotes is what stood out to me. So I'm a winner already. My winnings simply haven't manifested themselves at levels I want them as yet. So I come from an area whereby you might tell yourself that he is not supposed to make it, he's not supposed to succeed. And I'm working in an industry in a job that it is quite hard to get into as well. But the way I think about life is that I won already. And it might not be that I have the $1 million, because trust me, I don't. It might not be that I get all the jobs I want, because I don't either. But the way that I go into life is that it is mine already. And that's the first thing that I want to talk to you guys about in terms of mindset. It's extremely important in life. The way you think about your life, the way you think about yourself, the way you think about everything about you and around you is the most important thing you could probably have. So sure, things might get difficult because nothing about life is easy. Anybody in here think life easy? Just raise your hand quickly. If you think it easy, you think life easy? I want to talk to you afterwards, all right? Everybody else think life hard? Whether school work hard, right? Getting up in the morning to go to school hard too, right? All right, come. I can give you all the realist example, all right? Anybody here like school work? I agree. Anybody like going to school and hanging out with friends? That's me. Don't like that's me. I'm so serious. I used to enjoy going to school, hanging out, playing little table tennis, running about on the hard court, occasionally missing classes, but that's not a good thing, all right? You should miss classes, all right? So don't. But now I'm going to be as honest with you guys as I possibly can, because I am not here as a perfect human being. I'm just here as somebody who tries in life, all right? That's literally all it is. So there's nothing about life that is easy, but life is not impossible either, right? So everybody can say that with me. Life is not easy, but life is not impossible. Nah, honestly, that is exactly it. So the way I think about it is that if I want it, I can go after it. I'm not going to have it today, I might not have it tomorrow, but I'm a winner already. And that's how I like to think about my life and how I like to think about myself. And everything in life takes time. So I remember I started doing an online show back in 2017. And the first time I did it, I told myself, I can get sponsors, I can make enough money, I can start a career, that way I can get up on the couch and actually, become something. And after 7 episodes, nothing had happened. I was still broke. Actually, no, I spent money on the show and made nothing. So I was even more broke than when I started the show. Real story. So I didn't get sponsors, I didn't get jobs, I didn't get anything out of it. But I still had to have the mentality of, I'm a winner. That was back in 2017, where it was myself and a friend setting up a camera. Now in 2023, I get a chance to travel the world and work on different TV productions, whereby like I can't even tell you half the people that are around me, and that's because back in 2017, I told myself that I'm a winner and I can make it. I'm a sports presenter. So for example, the last job I was on was, anybody who's followed cricket, West Indies cricket. So yeah, so I was now working the West Indies India series. So for the last month and a half, how my days went is that we started in Dominica. That was the first place we went to. So Dominica, it was an hour drive around hills. My morning would start roughly at maybe about 7:30 in the morning with a morning show. And I would interview different fans, talk to people about cricket. I would interview the players after a performance. And then in the evening, I would do like a wrap-up of how the day went. And that was my life for the last month and a half. So we started in Dominica. We traveled to Trinidad, came to Barbados for 5 days, went back to Trinidad, went to Guyana, went to Florida. I got home 2 days ago. But that did not happen overnight. That started because back in 2017, when nobody was hiring me, nobody wanted to take me seriously, nobody had an interest in me, I was willing to look at myself as a winner and somebody that could make it in this life, could make it in this industry. So, nothing easy about it.
Yeah, so that means it was the underdog thing.
You see another quote on there?
Yeah, it said underdog doesn't mean you're less talented, it just means fewer people believe in your ability to win.
Alright, so we got another quote coming there. So she asked me if that meant that I was the underdog. And it's true, like I said, every single quote you guys have in front of you is my life. So it says, underdog does not mean you're less talented. Underdog just means fewer people believe in your ability to win. Everybody hear that? Underdog does not mean that you're less talented. Underdog just means fewer people believe in your ability to win. But funny enough, the only person that you need to believe in your ability is yourself. Hence why I always told myself that I'm a winner, and it applies to you guys as well. No matter what situation you're in, sure, you might have people around you telling you that you cannot do it, you can't make it, whatever career you want. Like, that's the thing. I've had people tell me that I sound confused, I look confused because I was talking here, I was talking there, I was working in an office here, like I was trying to make it in this role. And I have people tell me that it don't seem like I know what I want to do with my life. And you're gonna have people telling you that as well. Like I said, I grew up in an area where people didn't think that I could become someone that I should just be doing some little something at the side of the road and that was it. But I had a belief in myself that I could do it no matter what people were telling me, no matter how much times I failed, no matter how many times I didn't get the job, no matter how many times I wanted to give up, because I have literally spent nights on my floor crying. This is reality, like literally on my floor telling myself that I should be somewhere else doing something, and instead of that, I on my floor literally saying, I don't know where the next dollar can come from. My mother can probably put me out of the house because I look like I could become a bum. No working coming through the window. Like, I could not figure out how to make my next move. So I was the underdog. But literally after spending 3-4 hours on my floor trying to figure out life, I would get up and say, nah, this is not it. This is not where I'm supposed to be. This is not who I am. And I can do something different. I can try to say, okay, what did I do this time? What can I do different next time? So let's go back to another real example. The first presentation I ever gave, I gave it at primary school. Actually, the first time I was ever paid for a presentation, I gave it at primary school. And it was a case whereby people just said, hey, they like what I'm doing on Snapchat and Instagram on a morning. I just literally pull up my phone and talk, and I said, you want to come and talk in front of some people? I said, all right, no problem. And this was many, many years ago. And I did that one, and then I told myself, all right, if I'm going to do this, I need to do it properly. So I would get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to practice. But I'll practice in front of my stove, I'll practice in front of my fridge. Yeah, it might sound crazy, but if people tell you that you can't get it done, you have to prove to yourself that you can get it done. And there's certain things you have to do in your life that will be a little different to get the job done. So to get my job done, I had to talk to my fridge, I had to talk to my stove, and I had to pretend that the fridge and the stove was like you guys. That was it. So 6-7 years ago, my fridge and stove was you all. And that was my first sessions at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. That is what I used to do. And that was how I used to practice. And I would never stop when I got to the end of the presentation. I would be talking for 3-4 hours, and they'll come up and say, tell me, yo, go and sleep. That was facts, but I would not stop when I got to the end of a 20-minute presentation. I stopped when I thought that this is what people needed to hear. This is what people needed to get out of me. Same thing for you guys. You're going to have moments where, like I said, you feel like giving up. Things don't look like they're making sense, whether or not it's schoolwork, family, friends, life. But it takes a decision in your mind, in your head, that even though you're the underdog, you do not need everybody to believe in you. You just need to believe in yourself. As long as you believe in yourself, that's your start. I can get to another quote quickly, but there's things that I talk about that is called I am a brand. So it's know your brand, know why your brand exists, invest in your brand, sell your brand. The most important thing is know your brand. Your brand is yourself. All of you in this room, you are a brand. You're your own brand. Your brand is your name. So my name is Joel Michael Patrick Manning. That's my name. Joel Michael Patrick Manning. That's my name. And the thing about a brand is that it doesn't happen or grow overnight. It starts with a belief in this brand. So Shafet didn't start with 20 restaurants. Shafet started one little restaurant selling 2 burgers and a piece of chicken. Now Shafet to sell everything. And you know it, and you go to it. Burger King didn't start as some big franchise. Burger King started with one person believing in that. And it's the same thing for you. And the only person you need to believe in your brand is yourself. That is really and truly it. And like I said, your brand is yourself. And it starts one with loving who you are as a person, because you can look different, you can talk different, you can walk different, all these things. But the first thing is to love your brand, to love yourself, because that is your foundation. Or you going out into the real world, you got people around you that, like I said, can tell you that you should be doing something different, you look this way, that kind of stuff, but you don't gotta take it on, because you know who you are, you love who you are. That's your foundation, that's your brand. And as long as you have that, you can literally do any single thing you put your mind to in this world. All right, so we can try to get to another quote. Anybody else got anything on the paper that stood out to them? Number 5. My goal is not to prove people wrong. My goal is to prove myself right. Any reason why that stand out to you? You just like that one? All right, so it says, my goal is not to prove people wrong. My goal is to prove myself right. So, to explain that one, you know I told you guys that the people that be telling you things in life like you can't make it, you're not good, that kind of stuff. And if you are trying to prove those people wrong, it means that from the time people stop talking about you, you stop living and you stop doing as well. So it's almost like you're using them as your gas. So pretty much it's like the people who talk about you, they're like the gas, essentially. And if you're focusing on them, when they stop talking about you, you stop driving as well. So like I said before, it is about your belief in yourself. So if you set out something for yourself, you say, okay, this is who I want to be, this is what I want to achieve, no matter what people are saying about me, no matter what people are talking about me, it means that your gas never runs out. So your job is to prove yourself right. So for me, there's a piece of paper at home that I have that I literally, from the year 2019, I printed this one piece of paper. I have never traveled anywhere without this piece of paper in my bag. I fold it up, I put it in my bag. What's on the paper? I can tell you now. So on the paper it says, aim higher. That's the top of the paper. Literally, the top of my paper says, aim higher, because that's something I want to do. It says, how high you plan to go? They ain't got no limits. Like, I can go as far until I literally end up in a coffin. That is how high I want to go. Like, because you don't put limits on yourself. So my thing is to aim higher. It never say get a job. It said aim higher. So every single time I open my mouth, every time I travel, I want to aim higher. The next thing on that paper is challenge others. So I came in this room saying that I want to challenge you. And the reason being is because a challenge results in action. So I want that after I say these couple words to you guys, it puts something in your mind that makes you think a little differently. So you might either think differently, that's an action. You might talk differently, that's an action. You might do something different, that's an action. You might change who you have around you, that's an action. So that's why I have the word challenge others. The next line says, last the war. Sounds far-fetched or whatever, but the reason why it says last the war and not win the war, because I originally wrote win the war, but war cannot be won. War is only ended when somebody gives up. And I have no intentions on giving up in this life. And that's why I say last the war. So it's for me to get to the end of whatever it is that I'm doing. The last thing on that paper says impact. Because I want my life to have an impact, no matter what I'm doing. There's a quote that I have, but I don't think I have it on that paper, but it says, it's about my social impact, not my social following. So I end up with 1 million followers, but if I am not impactful, if I'm not challenging people like you guys, I don't think that my life makes sense. So the last thing for me to do is to have impact. Number 10, all right, we read number 10. Eyes on the process, and one day I'll have, that's the one you want me to read? Oh, eyes on the process, and one day I'll have the prize. I remember in 2018, I was on a stage at Barbados Community College, and I looked at this room of, let me say, 300, 400 people, and I said, I want to talk on stages where the production is $1 million, where I can see everybody in the back of the room. That was when I was 2018, never get a big gig in my life, nothing. That was my praise. That's what I wanted. Now for the process. Y'all remember when I said that I get in my kitchen at 2 o'clock in the morning and 3 o'clock in the morning? That's the process. So, eyes on the process is, let's make it very real to you guys, it's schoolwork. It is your everyday life. Whatever it is that you want to do, that is the prize. The process is how you get there. So pretty much my eyes on the process is, okay, to aim higher, to challenge people, to do better at my job, I gotta focus on the process. So it's the everyday things that you do. So I'm not sure what you want to do in life, but don't focus on that what, and that goes for everybody else. Don't focus on the trophy, don't focus on the money, that kind of stuff. Reason being, if you get to the end of where you want to go and the money is not what you wanted, the job is not what you wanted, the prize is not what you wanted, you then become a lot less motivated in life. That is when you're looking to give up. The same way I said that I did a show, and my prize was to get sponsors, to get enough money, to get jobs. I didn't get that. That's real life, that's reality. I didn't get that. Like, my journey literally only started last year. Last year is when I got my first big job, and I can tell you how I got that, by the way. But the process, like I said, is your everyday work. So if it is that you have to go home and watch a couple more YouTube videos to find out how to get something done, if you have to go home and literally Google every single person that works in a particular job so that you can message them to find out how do I do X, Y, Z. And that's how I got a big job, by the way. I messaged every single person that was working at this one company until somebody responded to me. I was not bored. I wanted it.
But some people don't respond.
That's the thing. That is disappointment. It's true. You know what, people, how much times I've sent emails and never get a response? How much times I've had face-to-face conversation and people said, no, we can't use you, we can't hire you, but that's life. That's the thing about it. That is literally life. That's all a part of the journey. So I can tell you about the process by telling you about this big job. So I got a chance to go to school overseas in 2019. And COVID happened. I went to England to study. And it ruined my life, pretty much. Because I had to come back home. I couldn't finish the schoolwork. I had to finish the work at home in Barbados, doing exams at 3 o'clock in the morning, while it's 9 o'clock in England. Right before I came back home, there was a job offer for me. And I had to get on a train to go to this job offer. But everything shut down, literally. And instead of getting on the train, I get on a car, and I drive 8 hours without stopping to get to the bathroom, get on a plane, and fly back home to Barbados. Because the job no longer existed. So that's why I thought my life was done, over, and I came back home to Barbados, lay down in the bed for 2 weeks, trying to figure out what I could do with my life. Because the job I wanted over there in England no longer existed. It didn't exist for the next 2 years. I came back home and I said, for 2 weeks I in quarantine. I remember writing in a book saying, I do not know what to do with my life. I feel as if I am a failure. my life makes no sense at this moment. That was, I tell y'all, I can be very real, that was my reality at that stage, because my prize disappeared. But then I picked myself back up and I started messaging every single person on something called LinkedIn. I looked at every single person that worked at this particular company and I sent them a message and said, "Hi, I'm Joel Manning. This is a video of my work. I'm hoping to work with you." And only 2 people respond to me out of about 50 or 60 messages that I sent at that time. And they said, "Hi, we like your stuff. If there's anything, we can get back to you." This is 2020, January 2020 or February 2020, I sent these messages. No, I didn't get nothing in 2020. I didn't get anything in 2021. Remember I told y'all last year was my big job? They reached out to me again in December of 2021 for a job that was January 2022. And that's because of a message that I sent since 2020. And that job was the job that allowed more people to see what I do, and that's literally the job that allows me to do what I do now. But that's because I was willing to send a message to a random man in Dubai, and 2 years later he remembered me and said, "Are you available for this job?" So if I had not sent a message, I wouldn't have been able to get that job because he wouldn't know I exist. My life is so interesting, right, that I am still chasing, doing, learning, growing. And it means that people have a measure of flexibility on me. So I have another quote that says, "The opportunity is not the biggest thing to happen to you. What you do with the opportunity will be." So it's not about the job, it's about what you do on that job. So every other little small job I get after that, and it's not a small job, it's just a job. So every single job that I got after that, I focused on that and I did my best. Because every time I talk, it is to do better than the time before. So you can make mistakes. Just try not to make the same mistake twice. You are allowed to mess up, you're allowed to make mistakes, you're allowed to fail, you're allowed to do all these things and still be a success in life. People think that you can't fail in life, you know. At one point I thought that I couldn't fail, that failure was a bad thing. Failure is not a bad thing, you know. You are allowed to fail, you're allowed to mess up, you're allowed to make mistakes because that's life. None of us are perfect. I am not perfect. I will make more mistakes in this life, and I just hope they're not mistakes that make me never get paid again in life. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's been a pleasure, guys, and I hope that something I said sticks with you, challenges you, and go out there, have fun. Like, life's supposed to be fun, right? So have fun, enjoy life, and believe in yourself, because every single one of you is a brand. So love that brand and have a good time, guys.